What's going on, Unplayable family? I'm D-House here with Jimbo, back for another spoiler recap for Jump to Lightspeed, the fourth set of Star Wars Unlimited. Jim, we're back. We got 26 cards to hit already. Can you believe it?
26.
That's
Oh,
a
wow.
lot. That's a lot.
We're slacking.
It's a lot. So Mike and Jay wanted to be here, but they trash, so they're not here. So we're going to keep going.
Amen. I'm starting to think they're just afraid of spaceships, and that's why they've neglected Beyond Our Spoiler videos for set 4.
They've already O2 dropped from set 4. They're on set 5, ready. Yep.
That's right.
All right. We're going to jump
perfect.
right in. We've got a leader, Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. Yellow hero leader. On the leader side, action, pay 1 and exhaust to exhaust a non-leader unit. If you do, its controller creates an X-Wing token. And then epic action, if you control 6 or more resources, deploy this leader, meaning Akbar is not a pilot, Jim. Not a pilot. So looks like a pilot in this picture, but not. So when he deploys at 6, he's a 3/8. He's got a big butt. With on attack, you may exhaust a unit. If you do, its controller creates an X-Wing token. Woo! And rebel and official. So a lot of stuff going on here.
A lot of rebels, a lot of officials. Okay. So first off, X-Wings are the 2/2 space tokens. As far as when you exhaust a non-leader unit, you're giving that controller a 2/2 space unit. Obviously, that comes in exhausted, typically. Chancellor Palpatine can say otherwise, but that's where we're at right now.
Oh, did you just unlock something there? Is that the move?
Hopefully not.
Is it Mono Yellow Akbar running Palpatine and dropping X-Wing stuff?
Y'all ain't even ready for that life.
Spicy. Okay.
Could be. No, I think on the surface, it's like, what exactly is this card trying to do? Because it feels weird because you want to exhaust your opponent's things, but then giving them another unit feels weird. There's some things you can do with this though, because there are pieces like there's some. There's that blue card, hero card that says like if your opponent has 3 units, you get to like gain Sentinel or something like that.
Oh yeah,
so there's a little bit
Duchess's
of synergy
champion.
with like
0/8.
Yeah, it's like a 1/8 or something like that. 0/8.
Maybe 1/8. I don't know. Is that I think we all just passed it.
We don't play with the Duchess's champion too often. But if we're not going double yellow meta, it's definitely going to be yellow blue meta.
I'm pretty sure that's a double blue card.
Option. Yeah, probably. Anyway, it's an interesting mechanic. It feels a little strange to give your opponent another unit unless there's really, really, really good reasons.
So then, are you just giving yourself X-Wings the whole time?
That's also potential.
You can exhaust your own, clone or battle droid or,
like the only time I'm okay to do this is they just stuck out a Sentinel that I didn't want to attack into, and so I have something to do with that unit instead. So typically, no. I think typically I want to be attacking with my things rather than not using them to win the game. So there'll be opportunities for that, I'm sure, but I don't think typically in a normal game state I would want to do that.
I don't know, man. I think your whole Chancellor Palpatine unit thing could be a move, right?
That'd be fun. Now, the artwork on this, does it look like somebody like weirdly cropped out a photo of Akbar and put him like in a Toy Story scene or something like that?
No, but you know what I did realize as you were saying that is my favorite deck in Star Wars Destiny was set 1 Leia Akbar. It's a trap shenanigans, and I could run Twin Sons Leia Akbar now, and he's a rebel.
Oh,
so I could
rebels.
go full rebel stuff. So that might be my first Twin Sons deck, honestly.
Okay. That sounds fun. A little potential like yellow, green, red action.
All right, let's move on. We got another leader, Admiral Piet. Green villain leader this time. Action exhaust. Play a capital ship unit from your hand. It costs 1 less and deploys at 5. Not a pilot, but deploys into a 2/7. And it says an Imperial official. Each capital ship unit you play costs 2 less, and it's just a static. It just happens.
Yeah,
that seems pretty dang good.
And there's a lot of
Yeah.
capital ships. I think somebody brought up like the Outlaw Corona. I think is a capital ship that costs 3 typically,
It's a
but now you can get out for
3/5 that you can play
1.
on turn 1. Now, if they kill it, they get a
Yeah,
resource out of it. But playing a 3/5 ship, spaceship, turn 1, it seems decent.
that's pretty good. Pretty good. Capital ships are great. A lot of people, any sort of control villain archetype is using Avenger, Relentless, Devastator. There's so many just really solid capital ships in the late game that you're already wanting to get to. So being able to play those earlier to kind of fast track your win con, that seems pretty great. It is curious though because they are so expensive. Kind of having a blank text until you get there. Obviously, again, we just mentioned there's some that are a little bit more, a little cheaper, but for the most part, the ones that you're really excited to play are the expensive ones. So building a deck around this, I'm curious if this kind of turns into Dooku, where it seems crazy, but then you're like, okay, it's pretty balanced.
I think this is going to be cracked. I really do. I mean,
I hope so.
Ruthless Raider is still one of the greatest ships, and that's a capital ship. And you're telling me I can play this at 5, or I can flip at 5 and play it for 4, and it's not unique. Like there's some weird stuff you can do. Like it that just seems that seems wild, man.
Could you use Triple Dark Raid to get like the extra bonus with the leader unit side?
Yeah, if your thing is out,
because it's subtracting it by 5, but then it would get an additional 2 off of that. So you could be playing, 8 drops for 4.
You could just play a Relentless
like
for 1 or 2 or something. There's some weird stuff. There is some weird stuff. I think. This is the kind of stuff that I like to build around. So I'm excited to give it a go.
And I like to throw waylays in my deck to stop you.
Well, if I played Ruthless Raider for 4 and I hit for 2 and I damaged 2 and then you spent 3 on a waylay, I'm like, all right, that's fine. I paid 1 for 2 base damage and 2 unit damage. All right.
That's right.
Well, we'll see some capital ships a little bit later. Let's keep going. We've got Lando Calrissian, and we can skip this one. Just kidding. All right. We've got Lando Calrissian, blue hero leader. Action, pay 1, exhaust. Play a unit from your hand, paying its cost. If you do, and you control a ground unit and a space unit, give a shield token to a unit. Deploys on 7. Lando actually is a pilot, but deploys as a rebel, official, and pilot. He's a 5/7, which is pretty beefy, and a Sentinel. All right. But then on the pilot side, he's a +5/+5. Obviously, attached unit is a leader unit, and attached unit gains Sentinel. And when deployed as an upgrade, you may give a shield token to a unit in a different arena. Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. So, can I just start with, is this just a worse Luke?
It's more different than Luke because you can give a shield to something after the turn that you play it. Okay, I could see a world where you can play ground units that are creating X-Wing tokens, and that fulfills the requirements that this is asking for. However, with indirect damage coming in that goes through shields, I'm curious how good is this actually going to be. I think shield creators are going to struggle a little bit. Potentially, maybe there's a way to get around that where it's like, hey, you're doing the damage but keeping the shield, so like what they're actually attacking.
Indirect can still just go to base. You can keep you can get value out of your shields. I don't think that shields are going to be in too much trouble, but
yeah, what we've noticed so far too this game is if your leader's coming out on 7, you better have some serious sustain to get there. And so obviously, like, okay, if you have a lot of Sentinel things already, giving them shield is great. We've seen Village Protectors be awesome. It's a very low statted 3-drop, but literally just having the shield and Sentinel makes it see play in a lot of decks. So if there's natural ways to kind of do that with paying an additional cost, we'll see. But
I mean, we saw Chewbacca in set 1 as a 7-drop, 7 deploy. It was Sentinel. As 2/9 with grit too, and Chewie didn't get much play. I guess the advantage of this, you can potentially throw this on a ship if they're going heavy on space side, and I mean +5/+5 in space is a pretty significant stat line. Like That's not nothing. I
Yep.
mean, even if you throw this guy on an A-wing, and all of a sudden you've got a 6'8" Sentinel, it's pretty decent. But we'll see. We'll see. All right.
I'm not thrilled, but we'll see.
All right, now we got Thrawn, baby. We got a new Thrawn, which I'm so excited about because I love the character. I want Thrawn in the game. I love his like little subtitle. How unfortunate! It's so good, so good. All right, when you use a when defeated ability, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, use that ability again. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yes, please.
Oh
yeah.
All right, he flips on 6, not a pilot, but flips into a 4/7 Imperial official. When you use a when defeated ability, you may use that ability again. Use this ability only once each round. So basically, same stats or same text, both sides. Don't have to exhaust, don't have to pay. Just a static thing. Woohoo! This seems fun.
Yeah. I actually do really like it when the developers give you a roadmap for how to build the deck. There's something to be said for like when you find those combos that work, you get really excited about them. And I think this is so good, specifically for casual players trying to deck build. Finding those when defeated abilities that they get excited to trigger and combo together. Even for the more competitive minded people, though, I think there's some really cool opportunities here.
Yeah. Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, Ruthless Raider is a great example of a start one of like we're already rolling with some of those when defeated abilities.
Any other favorite when defeateds in villain?
Oh, let's see here. I was trying to think. That was just the first one that came to mind. Obviously, like Inferno is a great starting one, just to kind of cycle through your deck. Would make a lot of sense for Thrawn anyway. For kind of knowing what's going on.
What's the battle droid escort thing? It's the one when played, when defeated, create a battle droid. So get double battle droids, more exploit.
And I need to look. I'm struggling to remember all of the when defeateds because typically I'm not trying to play a deck that wants my units to die, but this one does. And so it's like, okay, do we go the exploit route to try to trigger those easily or naturally, or do we really go for like building a huge board and it's like I dare you to kill them?
There's a bunch of just random little red things that have when defeated do damage to a base, like the OOM series officer when defeated. Deal 2 to a base. It's like all of a sudden that little 2-cost unit is now doing 4 to a base when it dies. That's kind of gross.
Yeah. Is it the Rokai?
Rokai does 1 or 2 on defeated. So like there was also a part of me, I'm like, could you go straight aggro with a 6-drop? Like that seems kind of not real, but also, I mean, a 2-cost unit doing 4 to base on defeat like seems.
Well, yeah, and blue-red has sustained. We've seen that. Like they can last a long time. So there's a way to play aggressively, but still beat out those other aggro lists.
Is Cobb Vanth? That's a one defeated, right? Right. So
it is.
You?
So
I'm looking at it twice. So you could, or I'm looking at it right now. So one defeated. Search the top 10 cards for a unit that costs 2 or less. Discard it for this phase. You can play from your discard pile for free. I mean, getting 2 units from a Cobb Vanth death. That seems good.
Pretty good.
Thrawn is, and we haven't even seen the stuff in this set yet, so that seems really fun. Woo.
Right. Oh, the one noted on here, I was looking up some other ones. A card like Gideon Hask, which says when an enemy unit is defeated. Right now, that's not a when defeated ability because when defeated, I think, is specific. You're right. To the cards. So I don't think that would trigger there. We'll need some clarification there.
It has to be. It's that whole like block black. Yeah. Fun. All right.
This is the one I'm very excited about.
All right, let's get into the non-leaders. We've got the Blade Squadron Bwing, finally Bwing in the game. 3-cost yellow hero space unit. It's a 3/3 rebel vehicle fighter. We're getting some rebel stuff again, Jim. When played, excited. If another player controls 3 or more exhausted units, give a shield token to a unit. So it's like reverse coordinated.
Yeah. So, we were making jokes about Dutch as a champion. Well, now.
And now I got a shield, and you got a 2/2.
Yeah. So Akbar, when it first came out, was very confusing, and then they very quickly revealed some other cards that say, "Oh, if they have cards or units out, then I get
Yep.
to do cool things." So yeah, let's pretend this is going with Akbar just as a starting point. Is this worth giving them a 2/2 spaceship?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so, but
Yeah. It's the fact they have to be
yeah.
exhausted too. It's
Yeah, that's a
so
lot.
late, and like if I'm playing the unit that's typically like
Like
closer to the I
like
don't
think
know.
about the TIE Defender. You just play for 3 and it just comes in shielded, and it's a 3/2 with a shield. It's like that's so
Yeah.
much better. But again, this is Rebel, and there's a lot of Rebel synergy stuff. So,
And yellow doesn't have a lot of natural opportunities to give shields to.
yeah, true.
Like that's typically
like
strictly in
Asteroid
blue.
Sanctuary.
So to flex a little bit outside of that, there's some yellow stuff that like they naturally come in with a shield, but this can give a shield to anything.
All right.
So that's like it's one mark of potential for me.
It's probably fine in draft. All right, it's a trap with the greatest art. I cannot wait to get these sleeves. There's an Akbar sleeve. I might sleeve every deck I have with these Akbar sleeves because
As you should.
That looks amazing.
Your birthday's right around the corner. We can get you everybody to donate.
Okay, hey Xander, if you're listening, man, October, just send me a box of Game sleeves full of Akbar sleeves. That's all I want.
I wasn't going to tell him it was still 8 months away or 9 months away, but
I do celebrate my half birthday, so April is right after the release of this set. So
Okay, well, April is my actual birthday. So
it's a trap. Yellow hero event. It's a gambit. It's a rare. If an opponent controls more space units than you, ready each space unit you control.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool payoff for you're loading up their space side. You're outmaneuvering to stall all of their space side. They are just building up this giant armada, and you got nothing going on. And then just kidding, gonna hit you with my 3 little puny units twice.
Akbar gives them that X-wing just to put you above, and then boom, I'm readying everything.
Boom.
It's pretty wild, especially if like red 3's on your side and you've got all these hero units. All of a sudden, everything's ready.
Yeah, it's a funny closer, but definitely like a game ender kind of thing. Without the tag that says you lose the game if you don't successfully
was it? Final
win the game
showdown, or what is that? Is that the double yellow one?
Yeah. The other funny thing is you can do this twice. So you play it's a trap, you attack with everything, and then you trap them again. If you happen to top deck both of them just to laugh in their face. This is another one that like I'm glad tech exists because these kind of cards that you want to save for the end game. You play tech, then you can play this. Yes, it's now for 5, but just to have that, that's how you're trying to win. Just fun design.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm a fan.
I like it. All right. We've got the Devastator. We're into the capital ships for Admiral Piet. I really like this a lot. This is an 8-cost red villain space legendary, by the way. Hello. We got a 9/6 Imperial vehicle capital ship. You assign all indirect damage you deal to opponents, which is wild. And when played, deal 4 indirect damage to each opponent. Oh boy.
This is going to be gross with Ruthless Raider already.
Yeah. So you drop this this for, either 7 or potentially 6 with Piet.
Yeah.
And remember, indirect damage can go to units or to base.
I'm so grateful this isn't in yellow for triple dark raid shenanigans.
Yeah, but people will still triple dark raid this. Yeah.
You're going to try it. Yeah, you're going to try it because you're dealing, 4 damage on the plate and then attacking for 9. You can sneak attack this, all of those fun things. That's without Piet as your
oh my
leader.
gosh.
But with him as the leader, golly, this is a cool card.
Yeah, this is going to be nasty. And people already play Palpatine as an 8-cost 6/6 that does 6 damage assigned. So this is just, you're only doing 4, but if they don't have units, you throw it on the base, and then you have a space unit hitting for 9.
Yeah, it's the I would imagine indirect damage is mostly going to be in red, just based off of that's typically a lot of the removals dealing a specific amount of damage. So even just to have that static ability online for now, all of those times that you've been doing indirect, you now get to say this is where it goes. That's really great. Exactly what you said about Palpatine is amazing. This doesn't have Overwhelm. Palpatine does. So that is one knock that I will give towards Palpatine. But 9-6 in space is
you know what I just remembered?
insanity.
You remember Admiral Ozzel from set 1? 2 costs, 2
yes,
3.
you
And
exhaust
you play an Imperial.
the
Imperial unit comes in ready.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Ozzel, baby.
It's Ozzel
That's
season.
right. That's right. Man, can you imagine?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So there you go. You don't even need yellow. You can just have an Ozzel out there, and if they let it live.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's sick. That's sick. Yeah, it's also Imperial officials. So you can do the 3/5 Sentinel. Well, I guess it wouldn't be 3/5, it'd be a 3/4 because you don't have Palpatine. But Royal Guard.
Yeah.
There it is.
Man, spicy. I hope I open this.
Very spicy.
Planetary Bombardment. It's a 6-cost red event. It's a tactic. And it's deal 8 indirect damage to a player. If you control a capital ship unit, deal 12 indirect damage instead.
So much damage. And so
well,
much
what do you
damage.
think you can play that Outlaw Corona, that little 3/5 capital ship?
Yeah.
And then
I love this card. This feels so oppressive. Like they play, and you're just like, why?
Dude.
Why?
Because think about this.
Golly.
Like Overwhelming Barrage is so powerful. And often Overwhelming Barrage, if you can get 5 or 6 damage off a barrage, you're like, okay, that was pretty good. This is 8.
Yeah.
And it goes beneath shields, and if it's more than their board, then it just goes right into their base.
Yeah, and you can't like over assign to a unit. Like if your unit only has 2 health left, you can't deal all 12 to that unit and be like, it's super
Holy
dead.
smokes, man.
So indirect actually getting to be pretty aggressive in nature does seem likely. And if you can stack up enough of that damage, it doesn't matter what they play. It's like, okay, well, it's going to go to their base, and then they try to clear their board. And so it's just, this is gross. Usually with stuff like this, it's above rate for total amount of damage because they're choosing where it goes.
Yep.
It's interesting though that both of these red legendaries serve the same kind of purpose. Like you would think they naturally go together, and they do in a sense. But I'm also just like 12 indirect damage. Just feels
that's
like
nasty, man.
Spell.
Yeah.
So at 6, that's so sick.
This is going to be I think this is going to be an expensive card. I
mean, I want this in every red blue control is already so good. I also just want this in red blue control, and because even if you're able to play like the unit finally, it's like I don't care. It's either going to die or you're dead.
It feels like in some ways other colors are finally getting access to Overwhelming Barrage, but also you can run this with Overwhelming Barrage too in a green-red villain package, which is like, oh gosh, okay. All right. On similar power levels, we have the Independent Smuggler.
That's right.
1 cost.
Watch
yellow
out,
ground unit. It's a 1/1 with raid 1, and it's a pilot unit that you can play Underworld with a +1/+1, and attached unit gains raid 1. What are you doing with this?
You're gonna now there are 2 of them for pilot synergy, obviously.
There you
go. So saw it here first. I think that would work, right? Because it would be piloting a unit, so it's not an upgrade. And well, does the upgrade keep pilot, or does the unit now have pilot?
I think it's just an upgrade that has pilot on it. I don't think ship doesn't.
So that wouldn't quite work. All right, fair enough. I'm not doing that then. 1/1 with raid 1. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. It's cheap. It's quick damage. So it's not completely unplayable. And there's also probably going to be things of like we've already seen, like depending on how many pilots you have, you get more buffs. So having a 1 cost to feed into that is, again, good design. They're really leaning into their mechanics, and it doesn't seem overly broken, at least from what I'm currently seeing.
Yeah, in my mind, I was just thinking, hey, I'll just drop a Cartel Turncoat, drop this guy on it, turn 1. Now I've got a 3/4 in space with raid 1 ready to rock. Seems fine.
I say I've been doing that with Ray
Yep.
recently, but not with Raid 1. Just as a 3/4 in space seems real good.
Seems all right. Also, if you run this with Gar Saxon, who just won a PQ, a Gar yellow deck, here we go. We got an upgrade. We got buffs. You got Raid 1. It's
what
Gar
more could
season,
you want,
baby.
people?
All right. Here we go. Another capital ship. 7 cost space unit. Fleet. Interdictor. Blue villain. 6/6. Imperial vehicle. Capital ship. Sentinel. When defeated, hey, Thrawn, you may defeat a space unit that costs 3 or less.
Perfect. Cool card. I like that it combines with a lot of different leaders already revealed. You just mentioned Thrawn. We mentioned Piet as an example. Both like this ship. 6/6 Sentinel for 7 feels like fine stats, honestly. It feels really solid for stopping up that lane. That's a huge breakpoint for a lot of the current ships. So obviously that's going to change as we're able to pilot them and buff them. But currently, the way that we've been playing the space side, 6 is a huge breakpoint. So it's a cool opportunity to stop the fire sprays, the ruthless raiders, those kind of things, and stay alive. In the process.
This feels as a common, like a bomb in draft. If you're on blue villain, seems pretty dang good.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that's golly. I know that's where your brain goes for a lot of limited play, but yeah, this is going to be.
But truthfully, if you can just flip Piet and then you play this, because you flip him on 5 and then you play this for 5, that feels good too. So
that feels great.
Cool.
I like this card.
All right, we got Cassian Andor. It's a 3-cost blue hero unit. It's a 3/4 or a +1/+3 as a pilot. So he doesn't have any text as a ground unit, but as a pilot, he comes in. So you can do piloting for 2. So he costs 2 when you attach him to a space unit, and attached unit gains on attack. Discard a card from the defending player's deck. If that card costs 3 or less, draw a card. That's a rare.
Yeah. I like that. Like Cassian has kind of kept this card draw synergy kind of with his leader unit as well. Like they want to. Nope. I got that backwards. Wait, no. It is Cassian.
From set 1 leader. Yeah. Yeah. Do 3. Draw card.
Yeah. Kept that consistent. And this is discarding from the top of their deck, not like from their hand or not like a random card from their deck. So it's fine. The 1/3 for 2 doesn't feel like the best stats of all time, but card draw's good. And so just putting this on like as an on attack ability, 2 is really cheap to get that potential. So I don't hate it. I don't think it needs to strictly be in mill list either.
Yeah. And that's a pretty, I don't know, random effect, but if it goes off, it's fine. Yeah.
I'm playing Quill in a lot of decks, and I'm not completely building around it. Like I'm okay with it being a little bit above 50% and saying if it hits, great. If not, that's okay. Greedo, similar idea of like you're not building your entire deck around Greedo hitting, but when Greedo does hit, you're happy. So I think if you're cool with the 1/3 stats as a little buff to your vehicles, and then occasionally getting that ability, we're doing all right.
All right. Next up, we got Resupply Carrier, a 6-cost green space unit, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's a 4/5 Imperial vehicle capital ship. When played, you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. It just brings in the card and it
That's right. Here you go. Yep. Let's ramp. I do like that this is a 6-drop, so it doesn't just auto like ramp Piet up to being able to deploy. You have to wait till the natural deploy turn anyway. If this was at 5, I'd be very sad. So yeah, it's pretty late in the game, but I like that it's a when played ability to get that resource. This actually does make me want to try like yellow green for triple dark raid. Getting to make some of those dreams happen. You can just do some really funky things there. So I think this card's really
here's
cool.
what we do, Jim. We play wedge unit first on 5.
Yep. I'm there with you. That's where
we play resupply carrier next. We have a 5/6 with ambush in space. We get an extra resource, and we just go on to win the game from there. It's pretty simple.
Sure. That's
next turn.
Yeah.
Next turn
Don't
we got
ever
home
complicate
one,
something so simple.
and we're just cooking. All right.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to get crazy,
Okay.
we could play this with Young Han, and we could play Wedge at 4 and this at 5, and then home one at 6, basically. Well, it will be at 7, but
that's good.
Boom.
That's good. I do like that you can get to Young Han because Young Han comes on. It's out at 6, right?
Young Han, no 5. It's at 5 deploy.
I'm being a silly goose. That's on me.
So that. So I
Never
like
mind.
truly. I saw when I saw. I mean, this clearly synergizes with Piet very clearly in villain. But I was thinking in hero, if you can use Young Han to get this out, or I mean, honestly, Han 1 from Spirit Rebellion or Spark Rebellion. This does seem like okay. Here's another easy one to get out and ramp ahead and do things. So.
And we've been talking a lot about like Rebel synergy coming back. Imperial synergy is going to make a bit of a return as well. I mean, those are just generically good cards that buff those Imperials. There's a lot of new cards with Imperial tags on them. So something to be said, I really do think like Leia and Tarkin from set 1 could make a resurgence of some kind, but also just the random cards that just buff those two traits in particular.
Yeah, sure.
I think will be really strong again.
All right. Next up, we've got the Quasar TIE Carrier. It's a 6-cost villain space unit. It's a 5/7 Imperial vehicle capital ship. On attack, create a TIE fighter token. It's common. It's a capital ship.
Yeah, pretty cool.
There you
go. Yeah, and the TIE fighters are the 1/1s in the space. So it's the battle droid and clone troopers of the space side of things. So it's fine. It's going to be pretty good in draft. This feels like a limited card to me. There might be some shenanigans to pull off with it, but I think it's probably mostly a limited card.
Although with Piet, like you could run Piet leader and Piet unit to give this guy ambush and, drop it for 4.
I'm not building my entire deck just to make that happen, but I'm at least considering it if they're
It does seem very good and limited for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we've got the Banshee. So again, Mike is not here to talk about Asajj Ventress's ship.
Convenient, Mike, if that's your real name.
We've got a 5-cost blue villain space unit. It's a 4/5 separatist. Hello, Dooku, right? And other possible things. Vehicle fighter, it's 4/5. So on attack, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the amount of damage on this unit. So if we remember, Ventress is a leader that has grit and gives grit to ships, so you can deploy her on her Banshee and just kind of go to town with some damage.
How are you putting damage on your own things naturally? Like, is this going to be like the second time that it's doing, like it's attacking, it's getting something to happen, or are there other ways that you can move damage around?
Well, Ventress, let me pull Ventress up because I remember she does self damage. Okay. So her leader side is action exhaust, deal 1 damage to a friendly unit. If you do, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit in the same arena.
Gotcha.
So you can just immediately do that turn 1 or when you drop it. And then when she flips, again, if she's a pilot, it's a +3/+4, and now the unit has grit too. So same effect. So I mean, again, it's like you're talking about the developers saying this is what we want to do. This is the unit we want to do it with. To be honest, though, I saw this and I thought of Kira because if you drop this and then you're able to do 2 damage to it and then shield it, all of a sudden, now you're dealing 2 and you're a little protected. So,
even just being able to pop a shield and then hit in for 4 is really cool. So obviously you're losing your shield, but like to get to do that extra damage is great.
Yeah, it erases a fire spray.
It doesn't have to be the unit that you're attacking. It says it's any unit, so it's not even a space unit that you're getting to deal that damage to. So again, I don't think this is a total build around card, but if something that's already doing that, like Kira, I think this slots right in.
So, I mean, does Dooku finally find his way in this set with some more separatist stuff?
It's tough. 5 drops definitely help because Dooku's ability really like warrants like, okay, you play something separatist on turn 1. Turn 2, you're dropping your 5 cost separatist by
Yeah.
exploiting that one.
So 5 feels good
for
for
three
Dooku.
3 resources
Yeah.
instead. So yeah, this one feels stronger. A lot of those 5 drops felt understated because they were playing into that kind of a play style. So I think this one feels a little bit more on par. However, Dooku doesn't naturally like deal damage to itself.
Yep.
So
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. Probably not, but
well, you know what Sabine really needs, right? More
Talk to me.
Green Rebel stuff. So let's talk about it. Red Leader, the Green Hero Space Unit. It costs 4. It's a 3/4 Rebel vehicle fighter. This unit costs 1 less to play for each friendly pilot unit and upgrade. When a pilot upgrade attaches to this unit, create an X-Wing token. So probably not actually a Sabine thing, because I don't know that this really matches the current, at least the current iteration of Sabine Green stuff.
Yeah, this does require some weird setup. Like you can't really get this out super early, and if you're not like you already need something else out that has the pilot on it to get the discount on this to feel warranted. Like if I'm paying more than 3, like if I'm paying the total cost for this, I'm like, I don't.
Well, if you do the thing we talked about earlier, the cartel turncoat and the little yellow guy, I already forgot his name. Turn 1, then turn 2, you're dropping this for 3, and
it's a lot.
That feels too much.
It's
that
doable.
Feels too much to me. Yeah,
it's doable.
But again, rebel tags. It's like stuff like medal ceremony, wing leader, fleet lieutenant, our thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I do kind of like that it's only when a pilot upgrade is attached to this specific unit that you get the X-Wing. So you're not going to get like crazy win the entire game mechanics off of this one unit. However, if you're already playing a rebel strategy, it's probably worth at least considering would that already kind of naturally work. Yeah, it's not a total build around card in my opinion.
All right, we got home one. We got another legendary, a 9-cost yellow hero space unit, 7/8 rebel vehicle capital ship. If an opponent controls 3 or more space units, this unit costs 3 less to play with ambush.
It's pretty cheap.
Ambush. So obviously Akbar's ship, Akbar's synergy. You know, Akbar wants to exhaust unit, give the X-wing token, and then say, "All right, I'm dropping this on 6 when Akbar is deploying, and I'm going to ambush and kill something." So, how do you feel about paying 9 for this? No,
thank you. Because it's not killing the other 9-drop capital ships. Yeah. Most of them are 8/8s or higher. So it's not killing those already. So to me, it's a good counter for something like a Django like style right now, like the yellow red villain, that they're trying to play that 6-drop space unit to win the game, and so to be able to counter their space unit with your own space unit to just kill it with your ambush. That seems okay, but that also means that they have 2 more space units on that side that you got to deal with.
I mean, this is a clean answer to fire spray if on the 6-drop turn, if you know.
Again, but that means that they have 2 other space units out that are about to hit you the next turn.
I wish it didn't say space units. I wish it was just 3 units.
Oh gosh, that'd be a lot. Like that'd be wild to me.
But it'd make it more playable. I
don't know.
I'm concerned that this won't see much play because just them having. But if maybe Akbar's nuts and we're just underestimating.
Could be. Could be.
Because we haven't seen any capital ship synergy in Hero yet. But we definitely have the Rebel stuff.
Correct.
So again, going back to Wedge unit from set 1. You know, now you got an 8/9 with ambush, more ambush, double ambush.
Yeah. Well, I don't want Wedge, but we'll see. I don't anticipate this being crazy. This is probably legendary. I'm not going to be the most excited to see. But maybe somebody can clip that and use it against me one day.
All right, we've got Gold Leader. It's a blue hero space unit, 5/5 rebel vehicle transport with shielded. Hello. While this unit is defending, the
Hello.
attacker gets -1, -0. I should note that this was spoiled with Lando. So in theory, they're saying, hey, you drop this on 6. Next turn you deploy Lando as a +5/+5, and you give it Sentinel. So now you've got a 10/10 shielded Sentinel space unit, and you just win the game, right?
I'm sad I'm disappointed in this card.
Oh, man. Okay.
This card looks so good. Like, looks so cool artwork-wise. I mean, one of my favorites in the game, as far as what I'm seeing here. Like, the Ghost is similar already, and you are only seeing Ghost in Hera, and how many people are playing Hera?
Jim is. I said
what's
Jim
that?
is. Yes.
I am,
yeah.
sure. I don't know. I don't see a real reason why you would play this card naturally. It's transport, and there's a few cards that you can, get a transport out of your deck and do some fun stuff with. That's tough. Shielded is good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It definitely. We'll have to see the rest of the set. Mike gives me grief every time I mention Protector, but this isn't blue, so you could just throw a 1-cost thing, give it +1/+1 and Sentinel, and all of a sudden, every time they try to attack the Sentinel, then they just play Fell the Dragon, and you're sad. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 6 for this.
Yeah. Well, then play it with the young Han, and then it just comes in, as a 5-cost 5/3 and
5/3 shielded.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a cool one. We got Academy Graduate. It's a blue cost. It looks villain, but it's just blue. It's just neutral. It's a 1/2 Sentinel, just straight up on the ground. If you're like, I just want to throw this in front. Or you can play it as a pilot for 2, and it gives attached unit Sentinel, and it's a +1/+2 buff on that ship.
Before you speak, you do not put this card on Gold Leader. Don't even think about it. Stop that. The Academy Graduate should not be piloting the Gold Leader.
Yeah, there are certain lines in the lore we don't cross, people. So
you just don't do that, people. I know it looks like it makes sense. You're like, oh, now it's a 6/7 that they're going to lose attack on.
Yeah,
don't do it.
All right, well, it's Sentinel on a stick.
Sentinel in space is really good
in blue.
Yeah, Sentinel in space is going to be good. I like this. It's going to go well with if you have a pilot focused deck. You want this card in there because it's blocking that side, as well as it doesn't just have to go on space vehicles. You can play ground vehicle units in Sentinel over there as well. So a little flexibility.
Oh, all right. The Invisible Hand, it's a 6-cost green villain space unit. Crawling with Vultures is what it's called. It's a 6/6 Separatist. Hello. Vehicle, capital ship in green villain, by the way, Piet. All right. There's a lot of text, but it's pretty sweet. When played or when this unit completes an attack and survives, you may search the top 8 cards of your deck for a droid unit, reveal it, and draw it. If it costs 2 or less, you may play it for free. Then put the other cards on the bottom of your deck in a random order. Okay. That's a lot, but this seems pretty good. I mean, first of all, 6-cost 6/6 in space seems about right. We just talked about Gold Leader being a 5/5 in space, and we're like, that's not enough. 6/6 seems right. Piet can play this early, right? You can triple dark raid this. So you're getting when played, and you're getting the complete attack theoretically. So you're getting multiple units, 6 damage. You get to look for droid units, and you get to draw it regardless. But if it's 2 or less, then you get to play it for free. So it does give you a little bit of flexibility in how you build your deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems pretty sweet to me.
That can happen a lot of times. So like I know this is weird. Like this is not a game where you're like stacking the bottom of your deck too often, but you do this twice. There's now roughly 14 cards at the bottom of your deck. You pseudo know what's down there. Obviously, you're going to have to shuffle up the things that you don't draw. So it's like, okay, I know this block of 7 are these cards, this block of 7 are these cards. That's a weird game to start playing, but I like that it also can thin out your deck. So it's just, you can play that 2 cost for free. That's one less 2 card that you're going to top deck later on in the game. So yeah, I've not thought of the opportunities to actually be able to like cycle through your deck pretty quickly, but this feels like the start of being able to do something along those lines.
So you also have the Piet unit that gives us ambush. You also have ECL because it's a 6 cost thing, so you can ECL this and so it's fun seeing something in Separatist that I'm like, okay, just thinking about Dooku. If I can play this on 4 and I'm getting not just this, but I'm getting other droid units out of my deck that I'm potentially replacing the things I just exploited. It looks fun.
Or put this in your hero deck. Then you can pull out your R2D2 full of solutions. You can pull out your C3PO.
There it is. All right. Next up, we've got Nian Nun, 1 cost green hero ground unit, loyal co-pilot. He's a 1/2. This unit gets +1/+0 for each other friendly pilot unit and upgrade. You can also play him as a pilot for 1. Attached unit gets +1/+0 for each other friendly pilot unit and upgrade, and then he adds +1/+2.
That's a lot of text on there too. But I was sad when Lando Leader came out and you didn't say who's the thing next to it, the rebel. And I was like, obviously.
Okay. I know.
What do you mean? I was so ready
really proud
the
of you.
one time, and you're like,
I know, missed opportunity.
I can't let this one happen. It's okay though. So anyway, attached unit gets +1/0 for each other friendly pilot unit.
So that's across the board. So you do get to look across the board and go
across the board.
Look at all these things I have.
The one thing I'm like, the wording is a little weird. I'm assuming this is pilot unit and pilot upgrade. But why they didn't just put those in parentheses as pilot unit and upgrade? There's going to be so many new players thinking that like all of their shields are going to somehow buff this. That's not how this works. It is a pilot unit and pilot upgrades. Every other one gets to buff the thing this is attached to. I love Maz. Maz is fun to me. Therefore, this card is
going right in your Luke deck. You can shield them up, turn 1, and just
100%. I do like that it's just +1/0 as well. It would start to get kind of gross if it was also buffing the health too. So cool card. I like it.
All right. Red Squadron Y-Wing. We've got a 2 cost red hero space unit, and it's a 1/3. It's a rebel vehicle fighter. On attack, deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. It's a common.
Yeah.
So we had the Gray Squadron Y-Wing that basically did the same thing, but on attack you do 2, and it's not called indirect. It's an earlier set.
So you're telling me I can turn 1, play a space unit that can deal 4 damage in the next turn on attack?
That seems correct.
That seems good.
No, that seems correct. I said, yeah.
Oh, seems correct. Yes. It's cool. Bloodsport and Grenade Strike seem like they're going to be much more viable with indirect strategies because they're going to get most of their units to 1 health left and then start doing stuff to base. So ping damage is going to be great. A lot of things that you can synergize with this, and just starting out with 4 damage is really cool. Plus, just pilot it, and then it also has enough attack to be killing stuff if you need to go that route.
I was like, man, again, more rebel stuff, right? So if you're able to turn 1 this, turn 2 fleet lieutenant or wing leader, I mean, that's a lot of quick damage.
Yeah, it is. The only weird thing to me is you almost always want to be going base with this card, because if you attack a unit, then they get to determine where the indirect damage goes. Then the attack actually goes through. So this is a very aggressive card in nature, which most people would figure it out because you're doing 4 damage on 1 swing with a turn 1 play. But yeah, you're only trading with this card if you absolutely must, because they're going to do as much of that indirect damage into that unit first.
All right, we've got Director Krennic. I'm really excited about this one. 2 cost blue villain unit. Just looking so dapper. in his little Death Star. 2 cost, 2/2. Imperial Official was shielded. The first unit you play, Thrawn, that has a when defeated ability cost 1 less. So this was obviously spoiled with Thrawn. So now the when defeated stuff's coming in less, and you get to double it up, and there you go.
I don't know why I'm getting a kick out of this, but just the text of on the verge of greatness. It's like, oh, he's got his dapper cloak on. He's good to go. He's looking his, absolute best. That Director Krennic.
Love
what
it.
a guy. This very clearly goes right into that Thrawn list. I think you're only playing it there, probably.
Whoa, timeout.
No, sorry. I'm going to immediately take that statement back. Pause in the play. We're already playing Crafty Smuggler. We're already playing L337. Shielded 2/2 is good. That's my second silly goose moment. If I get a third,
what era are we in right now, Jim?
No,
we're in the Gar Saxon just want a PQ, Gar Saxon yellow era. I watched it play. I was like, how did this win? And I watched the match this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is gross. So and then they spoiled this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a 2 cost 3/2 with shield that just it goes right into that Gar deck, man.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm a believer.
All right, let's keep going. Onyx Squadron Brute, 2 cost, blue villain, space unit, 2/3, Imperial Vehicle Fighter, when defeated. Heal 2 damage from a base. So there we go. We got with Thrawn. We got with Krennic. Yeah. That seems pretty good. Pretty good.
Agreed. Yeah. Again, I'm playing Inferno in a lot of those decks already that I'm wanting to go late game. Same stats, when defeated ability just to heal your base, which if you're a control list, you want to do that already. You don't get to cycle through your deck and look at the top 2 cards and do that fun.
But heal 4.
But healing 2 early is good. Healing 4 is also good. Top target is amazing in Bosk. So it may give us some opportunities to maybe swerve away from Bosk as like the required control leader right now.
Crazy.
So it's good. It's scary.
All right, we got the landing shuttle, 3 cost, space unit, just blue. It's a 2/4, Imperial Vehicle Transport, and when defeated, you may draw a card. So more Thrawn synergy, everybody.
I actually just think this card's good. I really do. I think Imperial's just a solid. Like, I want to play the 4 cost that can make this a 4/6. I want to be swinging with this thing. The only downside, in my opinion, is that 2/4. Like, a lot of you want 3 attack in space in particular, at least right now. But it can trade with like lurking TIE Phantoms. It can
not even trade. It just literally kills it.
Yeah, I always say trade. It always, ruffles your feathers.
Like, if I could change one thing in the Star Wars Unlimited community, when people when they say trade, you're not trading.
I need to go in the trade timeout square.
Yeah, seems good. All right. Droid Missile Platform, 3 cost, red space unit. It's a 4/2 Separatist droid vehicle transport. When defeated, deal 3 indirect damage to a player. So, I'm not the math guy here, Jim, but if you play this with Thrawn, how much damage do you get to do on when defeated?
Oh, that's 6 damage, David. 6 damage.
Thank you for the help there.
Yeah. No problem at all. 3 for a 4/2, I'm not thrilled about, but the when defeated ability is really great. So that 3 damage is sweet. It's not the same as the 1/3 attacking, because that one you can keep doing, but they've clearly gone a couple different routes with this card. It's a Separatist, so if exploit is possible as far as like a viable strategy, this is going right in there to exploit and then make some stuff happen. Thrawn, like you just mentioned, of course, then you can do 6 indirect damage. I like that a lot of these cards do synergize well with a couple different ideas to give you some flexibility with how you're building these decks.
Yeah.
And it's a droid, so you can go search for it.
Yeah.
With the 6/6.
Yeah, this seems interesting. I just remembered Starwing Scout from set 1 has that when defeated, if you have the initiative, draw 2 cards. So now I'm looking at the Thrawn, like, okay, well, if you got 2 options at 3 cost red with when defeated triggers, obviously the other one you have to have initiative, so it's a little tricky, but those are 2 3 cost spaceships that hit for 4. So the aggressive deck concept, I think, is interesting. But
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's droid, so you can grab it with the vulture ship. So
Vulture ship, I like that.
all right, I think this is our last one. This is the shuttle ST-149. It's a 4-cost just villain space unit under Krennic's authority. It's a 3/4 Imperial vehicle transport with shielded. Again, Gar era, baby. Here we go. When played, when defeated, you may take control of a token upgrade on a unit and attach it to a different eligible unit.
Yeah.
So
it actually is.
It really is
Gar
a Gar
Saxon.
Saxon.
Yeah, that one definitely is for you're taking their shields or experience and giving it right to you,
or just passing around your units to get extra damage.
Yeah. You swing with the experienced Chilton or something like that. You just take one of his. He's got 4. He doesn't need all of them. Make that happen. So I actually do like this card. I think there's a lot of play around mechanics on here. And so I like that a lot of the traits this set feel like very like valid, not just like a random throwaway. What is that trait ever going to do? And they don't necessarily have to go directly in there. There's a lot of things that they kind of like, again, show you the playbook of what it can do, but still have enough to it that you can like get more creative outside of that.
All right. I think, that'll do it for today. Man, we had a lot of cards to catch up on, but I'm pretty excited about all this stuff. I'm excited about pilots and just some of the leaders that are coming. So Rebels and Imperials seem to be coming back. That's exciting. So,
well, but also there's Separatists and there's other other viable things that have also like we
saw a little Underworld for trickled in there too. So
yeah. I there's been so many games that like a set will come out, they'll introduce a new mechanic, and then you never see that again. And so it's just like if it's not super viable right when it comes out, it's never going to be viable. That's been true for a couple things with this game, but for the most part, especially those traits, I really appreciate them bringing some more support back. I'm sure it's really hard to test, but appreciate that that's happening.
All right, guys, that'll do it for today. I'm sure we'll be back soon. There's so many spoilers coming out for Jump to Lightspeed dropping in March. Can't wait. We're getting closer. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, y'all.